Marty B. O'Malley, who always encouraged citizens who resided in the borough to get involved and contribute in some way. So he was famous for always saying, "Thanks for your idea," and he would name the committee and invite them to participate. And that was kind of his little way of getting folks involved. So tonight, we are awarding Doug Rischel the 2023 Marty B. O'Malley Citizenship Award for all the work that he does here at Forest Hills Borough. And so this certificate is awarded to Doug Rischel in recognition of his community leadership as a current member of the Environment Advisory Council. Doug Rischel is an active community member. His care of Forest Hills Parks and Bird and Wildlife Sanctuary is commended. Doug is the first person volunteer for Japanese knotweed eradication or an invasive plant removal. Doug's knowledge of nature has expanded, and he and his wife researched and started a vegetable garden this past year. Doug's investigative nature leads him to research a broad number of topics related to the environment. He always wants to grow and learn. Mr. Rischel exemplifies what it means to be a good citizen and a good neighbor by always doing the right thing for our community, quietly and without fanfare, and without the need for praise or recognition. For his commitment to the borough of Forest Hills, the mayor and Forest Hills Council hereby recognize Doug Rischel. We'll go to the Tree City Council, I'm pretty sure. A bit here on the website. We know you love the recognition.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the award and thank you about the site. We just sort of on that back on with the farm and so now there's more of we're having some work done in my house and contract. He said, "I'll call him and about I'm very appreciative how kind and gracious he was.
I'd like to move on then to Mr. Corbel.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I will call to order the public hearing on the rezoning of a parcel of property in Forest Hills. The applicant is Beyond Dental LLC. Rezoning application was submitted for property located at 444 Avenue D. It is currently in the R2 zoning district and is owned by the borough. The property was previously utilized by the borough as the Borough of Forest Hills Senior Center, a branch of the C.C. Miller Public Library, and an associated parking lot. The property directly abuts the S2 zoning district and is adjacent to the Westinghouse Atom Smasher site. The property has predominantly remained vacant since November of 2016. There is no intention to utilize the property as a senior center, library, or other public use in the future. And
can't hear back there.
oh, okay, sorry about that. There's no intention to utilize the property as a senior center, library, or other public use in the future, and based on appraisals and review of the property is no longer considered suitable for such public uses. I will enter into the record Borough Exhibits A through F that are set forth in a memo to Borough Council dated today. Is there anyone here tonight other than the applicant seeking party status to participate in the hearing? Yes. Yes, come forward. Name and address, please.
359 Avenue A, right on the bend to Avenue D. So I just have some questions about this. Do you know what the operating hours are going to be of this facility?
No, that's not what we're considering this evening. We're considering whether to rezone it from R2 to S2.
Have you asked them what the increased traffic might be?
Those things aren't relevant to the decision tonight, they will come forward. They have to make a conditional use application in the future where those items will be discussed.
Right on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Present tonight? Any comments or questions from council? Questions from the applicant? If anybody's here from the applicant. Yes. Yeah, are you the applicant?
Counsel for the applicant. The applicant is here. If
Okay,
counsel
are
has
you-
Questions for the applicant?
Yeah, you can come up. Let him go. We'll let this fellow go first. Okay. Come on up, Mr. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Michael Saffron. I live at 440 Avenue D, the adjacent property to the parcel being sold. Will there be a hearing for how the council might proceed with traffic and regulations with this, and
Yes.
have any idea how long that would, or how soon?
That would be a conditional use hearing, and after this, if this passes this evening, the next step would be that the transaction would have to close, and then once it closes, the property owner can apply for conditional use of the property and they could come and tell you exactly what they're going to do. They may be able to answer some of these questions. That's their right to do so if they want to. It's not relevant to the analysis tonight as to whether to rezone, but they can address those. But you'll have an opportunity in the conditional use hearing process to come and make comments and ask questions.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Now, counsel for the applicant, name and address for the record.
Frank Kosar, KOSIR of Meyer, Unkovic and Scott, 1300 Oliver Building, Pittsburgh, 15. The question has been raised. Beyond Dental is not a dental practice. We don't have patients coming in and out. It's a business started by and make dental implants. So we fabricate, the bridges that false teeth and things of that nature. So the building would be used for purpose of manufacturing these types of things. If we're not gonna, on a rare occasion, we may have somebody coming in to have a fitting done or something like that, but this would not be a dental practice other than the employees that'll be working there. Traffic generated. So, I mean, it's our position. I think, Mr. Corwell, you've stated our case probably as well as I could, and the adjacent properties done this way. This building really is never going to be used as a senior center again, and so we think. Council has any other questions regarding the business, Mr. Towns will be glad to answer.
Mr. Kosar. Any questions? I'll ask council again if they have any questions.
I have questions about just the nature of business and potential for noise and anything like that, if now's the appropriate time. I'm sorry, can you move the microphone up? Thank you.
The majority of our work is done on computers. We have regular work hours from 8:30 to as I said, there's very little to no patient traffic, maybe one a week, if at all. And the only people what are coming there are the people working for me. Of the businesses, we do plan for dentists as a service. Then we fabricate what is a surgery guide, and this guide is noise, very little. These 3D printers don't make any noise. There's like a drain, but nothing you will hear outside of the building.
Thank you.
And how many employees do you have?
At the moment, I do have 6. We plan to expand to a maximum of.
Seems that a lot of the residents in the area are concerned about traffic. Then would UPS or FedEx or whatever
Once a
postal?
day.
Once a day?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just one truck.
With UPS, they depends actually on the delivery. Sometimes they have a morning delivery, then come in the morning. They come a second time in the mail, the USPS and UPS is our main. Occasionally a FedEx, but household.
Council?
Pretty sure if it's relevant, but I think you have enough parking for your employees. So if residents would be concerned that you're clogging up the road, I think you have enough.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, there will be no on-street parking. The parking lot itself is enough. Right now, 6 cars.
Questions from council? Yes, sir, in the back, sir, do you have a comment or question? Okay, come forward, name and address for the record.
401 Avenue D. Matter, but was any consideration to the building historical significance of that building? But you do know that was the cafeteria for the Westinghouse site, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I always thought it's number of people come in the area there to take pictures. You'll see the cars coming in. Hard to see it. But I just wondered if I ever thought maybe even the dental, whatever, put a little museum or something down where the library used to be, consideration.
Is that with, if this passes and the sale goes through, you can raise it with the new owner.
Okay, but that's all I have to say.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Anybody else? Being none, unless there are objections, I will close the hearing. And this matter is under the Planning and Zoning Committee for a vote tonight on an ordinance that would rezone the property. Thank you.
The president's report. Before the first business meeting of 2024 begins, Mr. Bioki has compiled a list of council's accomplishments for 2023 that I would like read into the minutes. Would you please proceed, Mr. Bioki?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. As we start our new year, I would like to highlight some of the accomplishments we were able to achieve, primarily in the last year by working together as council. We took steps to improve things around the borough as well as internal borough operations. I'd like to take just a few minutes to review them. Ironically, the senior center, idle for years, is in the process of being sold to a new business and will add to our tax base. Under borough operations, we now have an IT managed service provider that will ensure borough data and computer resources are secure. We purchased an electronic document management and storage solution to streamline document processing. We acquired an asset management system to catalog and track equipment. This includes an electronic work order system that we desperately needed. Additionally, we added software to automate and manage facility rentals, classes, and memberships such as the pool, tennis, and others. We also moved forward with a website redesign, which will be released soon. Savvy Citizen, a communication and alert system, was initiated to keep residents informed and engaged with real-time updates on activities in and around Forest Hills. A town clock was purchased and installed on the municipal campus with funds presented to the borough through a Centennial Celebration grant. There were a number of long overdue updates to ordinances, policies, and resolutions. These include aggressive panhandling, changes to our rodent control policy, social media and communications, and solar energy, among others. Council approved resolutions celebrating and honoring Juneteenth 2023, and another one celebrating and honoring the LGBTQ+ community and Pride Month in June. and each subsequent year. We approved moving to a digital format for the Tree City Times and opened a new pickleball court for residents. We partnered with Siemens Energy Solutions to make changes to our various building infrastructures to catch up on deferred maintenance, improve energy efficiency, and lower operating costs. We initiated a number of other large projects such as the Westinghouse Lodge renovation, new flooring and roof, and ADA compliant upgrades for the bathrooms and locker rooms at the pool lodge. We made improvements to our paving program to include alleys and service roads that residents use on a daily basis. This year saw the first time a service road has been paved in well over 15 years. The Watt Lane Headwall project was completed. For those who don't know, a head wall is a retaining wall placed at the inlet or outlet of a stormwater pipe or culvert. That's been ongoing for years, and we finally got that done. Security enhancements were made at the Pool Lodge and Municipal Building. We have collaborated with the Forest Hills Community Alliance to construct an amphitheater for events and concerts on the Westinghouse Lodge property. We purchased a new street sweeper and leaf vacuum truck to replace our broken and outdated equipment. We expect to receive them later this year. We purchased and installed an outdoor LED sign for the pool. In the area of safety, we had a number of successes. We were able to obtain a grant from the Department of Health to purchase new school bus stop signs. Working with the school district, we placed signs throughout the borough at appropriate locations where children are waiting for buses. We conducted a public meeting on deer management and are currently collecting data for further evaluation. We successfully worked with PennDOT to lower the speed limit on Ardmore Boulevard to 35 miles per hour. We also reviewed speed limits on other borough streets and will be making some reasonable adjustments to those limits as well. We took some other measures to reduce speeding. We purchased a portable radar speed trailer to alert and warn drivers that are exceeding the speed limit. We also purchased radar driver feedback signs that will be installed permanently on Ardmore Boulevard and Greensburg Pike. These also serve to alert and warn drivers that are exceeding the speed limit. Fast car lines were painted on Ardmore Boulevard to assist the police with traffic enforcement. We purchased various traffic warning signs that will be placed around the borough in the spring. At the request of concerned parents, we acted to protect young children from running into traffic and running into the creek by approving and installing fencing around Bright Park, and will be following up to install fencing at Ryan Glen and Forest Woodland Parks this spring. We will also be installing temporary speed humps around these parks to slow speeding traffic. We purchased a new electric vehicle for the police department, and we increased our police force by hiring 2 new officers, including the first female officer for the Forest Hills Police Department. I look forward to, with all of you, to another successful year of serving our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bioki. I would like to point out, none of that could have been done without the help of Mayor Porco, Mr. Morris, our manager, and the borough staff. Thank you. An executive session will be following the meeting on legal and personal issues. May we have the mayor's report, please?
Madam President, a brief one this evening. Yesterday, I attended a town hall. Approximately 35 people attended, and basically it was an opportunity. Ask questions about what she's facing as a it was very well received, and we're actually working to schedule eyes and ears open on my social media, our borough website, and her social media, and we'll be announcing. For anyone who's interested, on January the 30th, right here, Senator Jay Costa, who is the state senator for the 43rd district, which also represents the borough of Forest Hills, will be holding another town hall meeting right here. So any of you check the social media, but it'll be here, and I believe it's council chambers and the adjoining community room. Outside of that, I really have nothing else to report on. President.
Thank you, Mayor Porco. Chief Williams, could we have your police report, please?
Yes, President Morton. First off, I'd like to talk about this being January and suddenly it's winter. As you can see, as soon as January 1st hit, we suddenly got snow. So my big issue with snow is I'm just hoping everybody's going to drive a little slower because we're not used to having snow. We haven't had it very much. So go a little slower, be a little more careful, be kind to others out on the roadway who may be having some difficulty because they may just not have good tires on their car. Try not to run them off the road. And why they can't get moving. Secondly, the road department would appreciate any help that anybody could provide by keeping their cars off the road and maybe in a driveway during these periods of time when we have, more than a few inches of snow. Looks as though Friday may be one of those days, so they'd appreciate that help. And again, I mentioned this before in the past, if you see or you break down on the Ardmore or one of these busy roadways, please call 911 right away so that we can come and help you. We don't want you to leave your car abandoned there. We want to be able to, help you. I mean, these cold days like today, you certainly don't want to be in a car that can't run. Well, we can at least put you in our car for a little while. We can get you some help. Again, don't hesitate to call 911. I know people have a difficulty with that sometimes. So please make that phone call so that we can get out there and help you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief Williams. Forest Hills Community Alliance, Ms. Dempsey.
Everyone. First, I wanted to congratulate Madam President on her election and also the newly elected and newly re-elected council members. And I look forward to working with all of you as board president of the Forest Hills Community Alliance. Hopefully you've seen the yard signs around the neighborhood. We've got a couple examples here in the room. I want to thank for our upcoming meetings at the Pool Lodge. I want to thank the borough and especially Steve Morris for allowing us to place some of our signs on some borough property and also allowing us to advertise on the electronic billboard at the pool. Our first meetings that we're hosting a series of community conversations once a month, starting next month through the month of May. They're at the Pool Lodge, and they're from 6 to 8. We're working with our consultants, Evolve EA. We've been working with them for a couple of years, so we're really excited to have our first public meeting. I also want to thank several of the Borough Council members for volunteering or agreeing to speak at the meeting, and that would be Barb Martin, Angela Bioke, and former council member, Patty DeMarco. Where is she? There she is. And newly elected board member. So we hope that everyone will join us next week. And I know that the future meetings, unfortunately, are on the third Wednesday of the month. So I know you all have your council meetings, but we will continue to update you on our progress. Also wanted to say that Frank, Mayor Porco, who's also on our board, has a update on our other project, the band shell.
Dempsey, myself and fellow board member Maureen Ryan to review the schematics for the new band shell that is being planned for this coming year. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that, the Forest Hills Community Alliance secured some grant monies, and we will be placing a band shell on the property of the Westinghouse Recreation Center. So when we have concerts in the park moving forward or any kind of theatrical performances, we'll be able to actually leverage standing band shell as the place where folks will perform. Currently, we have to haul a trailer in and set it up, and it's kind of painful, and we have to move parking all around in our parking lot. So I think it's going to be a nice addition and a permanent structure, which is designed to tie in with the look and feel of the borough building. And once the renovations are complete at the Westinghouse Lodge, everything will kind of tie in together. And the goal there is to basically have a look and feel of a borough campus up here where everything kind of fits. So we had a chance to meet today. We've kind of picked out the color schemes. And so basically here. And that order will be placed and coming to your firm. Well, it's already in your inbox probably, so just keep an eye open for it. And then we'll be taking delivery of the structure in, I think, springtime, around April, May timeframe, depending. And then we'll begin construction right away. So. Sure, I'm sorry.
That's
You
okay.
asked.
No, thank you. Thank you. I have flyers for the upcoming meeting, so I'd like to, if I could do that and you guys could pass them all down. If you want, there's a QR code on the flyer. You could also go to our brand new website, fhcommunityalliance.org. And we also have a Facebook and an Instagram page. So we are really with it. So thank you.
Chief Galella is not here for the fire chief's report. Chief Mastriandrea is not here. Mr. Corbel, the solicitor's report, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I have nothing further to report this evening.
The Wilkinsburg Penn Joint Water Authority, Ms. Braz is not here, but she reported that the WPJWA reported 4 breaks. All have been repaired. Site restoration in the spring, 35 Radnor Avenue, 101 Hazel Place, 444 Atlantic Avenue, and 32 Lee Avenue. Moving on to the committee and board reports. Mr. Bacon, do you have anything?
Thank you. I will be attending the first Connect meeting next week and we'll have more to report next month.
Thank you. Mr. Bioki, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Lawrence, anything to report?
Nothing, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the public comment for agenda items and non-agenda items. At this time, citizens may address council on any issue, whether appearing on today's agenda or not. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Forest Hills will be permitted to address council. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before council, who may speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. Citizens are asked to use the microphone at the speaker stand, clearly state their name and address for the record, and keep comments brief and to the point. Please spell the name for the record. Speakers are reminded that council uses these comment periods as opportunities to gather information and not to respond directly to concerns raised. Information gathered will not be discussed at the business meeting, but instead will be referred by the council president to the appropriate committee for review and discussion at the next committee meeting. Do we have anyone that would like to address council? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Doherty. That's Daugherty, and I live at 539 Pacific Avenue. And I'm coming again to comment on the changes to the traffic patterns on Pacific Avenue between Marion and Lenox. And I just want to reemphasize that, we think that resident safety and emergency vehicle access is extremely important. But the changes to parking, restricting it to one side, that's really the only sticking point. We wonder if there's a solution that gives better access to emergency vehicles while, allowing residents to continue to have parking access. Things are fine right now, but we have some vacant houses on that street. And once those fill up, we're afraid that things are going to get pretty contentious. I don't know if there are further opportunities to comment on that or further discussions, but that'd be something that we'd be very interested in. For your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hi.
My name is Ezra Epler, EZRA-EPPLER. I live at 300 Marion Avenue, at the corner of Pacific and Marion. I want to kind of reiterate that a lot of people on Pacific kind of have been having issues with parking. Specifically for me, I no longer have parking that's directly next to my house. I don't have parking in the alley that's behind my house or next to it. So right now I've been kind of communicating with my neighbor to like allow access to let me park, but still with this kind of icy weather and the hills, it's hard for me to get my groceries inside. I don't know if this has been mentioned, but there is a duplex on our street, and I also know of a neighbor who has said that they don't have a garage at all either. So been a little difficult. There's also been talks from our neighbors about starting a petition to send. The other thing, just from a safety issue, I've noticed that people are on Pacific regardless, and is still taking, I think because it's just an easier way for us to access Ardmore Boulevard. That's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
My name is Becky Klink. I live at 211 Woodside Road. My last name is spelled Klink. I recognize some of you here, others I do not, but maybe you recognize me because I also live at Bright Park with my two very young children, and I am there constantly. Mr. Biaggi had mentioned some concerned parents had voiced safety concerns about the parks and there being no fence to protect them from falling into the creek, which my oldest son did one of the first times he was at the playground. He went down the hill and into the water. And also my biggest concern was that there was no fence protecting my kids and other kids from running out into the sometimes very busy road. And that's also something as a mother that I experienced not once, but twice. I have two kids, 1 2.5, 1 3. And one of the most terrifying moments as my experience as a new mom. So I do want to express my gratitude. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. Not crying, I promise. But I do want to express my gratitude because the first time that the fence was installed, my wife and I actually sat down on the bench and we had a conversation, which is something we had never been able to do because we were constantly hyper vigilant about the safety of our kids. One going in this direction, the other going in this direction, and having to look at them endlessly to make sure that they were safe. So that means a lot to me. And also I am unofficially speaking for multiple parents of young children who live in my neighborhood because they've also expressed the same, like huge relief over something so little as a fence, which for us could frankly be our children's safety and their lives. So thank you. Job well done.
Anyone else?
Hi there, Lurie Miller, L-U-R-E-E. I'm at 4214 Greensburg Pike. And I'm here to reiterate what Becky also said, just appreciation for the safety projects that have been put in. A young, very energetic and curious 2-year-old who we often frequent Bright Park, and that fence has made a world of a difference. Because in addition to her curiosity and her active engaging with the boundaries of that park, there's also the worry of cars that are going by. And even though there's a guardrail, you never know what could happen if a kid is even listening to you. Who knows what could happen with the car? And possibility of water rising. What would that look like? So yeah, first going to that park and seeing no fencing and seeing a sign that said dangerous waterways, I was thinking, I don't know if we're gonna go to this park again, but this has made a world of a difference to be able to be there and relax a little bit. Never fully relax with a toddler, but just sit down for a second maybe. So much appreciation and a lot of excitement about the future safety things, especially being on Greensburg Pike. So job well done.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Ferry, Ferry. I live at 537 Pacific Avenue. The last meeting, and
I'm sorry, into the mic, please. Thank you.
I live closer. I live
You gotta
closer
get really
to.
close.
Got to get real
Okay.
close here.
I live closer to Lennox at the bottom. So the apartment buildings across the street, well, one in particular, they actually is not owned by the lot. They're allowing them to park there. So I'm worried about the future, what's going to happen. Right now, it seems it's not really the realistic part of the way it's been for 50 years that I've lived there. And I also would like to say that our street and Sumner are the same width, 24.4 inches. And I don't want to wish this on Sumner because it's not good. So I'm praying that you would just put us back the way we were.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please. Could you please
Really not-
speak into the mic? I'm
Sorry?
sorry. Could you speak into the mic?
Sorry, yeah, as I just think would be an eyesore and there's really not a safety issue. I was afraid I've lived in my house over 30 years and I've never seen little kids run into this who played over there and decision would be made of what would be erected over there, because I know there was going to be a replacement for the fence. So anyway, we're just all very concerned about the looks of the park. So that's all. So thanks for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. That ends. Let's move on to the committee reports. Operations and Policy, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I move to approve the minutes from the December 13th, 2023 council meeting.
Second.
Could we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
I move to approve the minutes from the January 2nd, 2024 council organization meeting.
Second.
Could we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay, I move to approve Waste Management's requested change in trash recycling collection days to Thursdays and Fridays only, and provided that the company notifies residents well in advance of the change.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Are there any comments?
Question on the motion. Have we kind of nailed down how much notice they need to give residents?
Madam President, may I answer that?
Please.
Yeah, there was a discussion on that, and they will mail out the information likely about a week or so before that happens, but From the time we make a decision, if we were to make a decision tonight, the time frame would be about 4 weeks. So we have enough time to get information on our website and on Savvy Citizen for the residents.
Just a thought, it might be a good idea to maybe ask Waste Management to give the residents a couple. It's very easy to miss a piece of mail coming in from Waste Management. And God love our residents, but then if something gets upended on terms of like trash schedule, recycling schedule, then we're gonna get inundated here at the office, right? So maybe just if we could work with them just to give the residents as much notice as possible, a couple weeks or 3 weeks ideally. Just my opinion, but just wanted to offer that up. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon?
Yes.
Mr. Bioki?
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta?
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
President Martin?
Yes.
I move to appoint Maureen Ryan, president of the Right Connections LLC, as a grant consultant beginning February 1, 2024 through January 31, 2025 at a cost not to exceed $15,000 based on an hourly rate of $100 for up to 12 hours a month.
We have a second?
Second.
Any comments?
I just would like to highlight, we just today won 2 grants, one for 150,000 and one for 210. And grant writing is badly needed to get grants. So I'm definitely in favor of that.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Bioki?
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta?
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Watkins?
Yes.
President Martin?
Yes.
Yeah, I move to approve ordinance number 1112, amending provisions of the non-uniform pension plan. Does the ordinance need to be read, Mr. Corbel?
It does not. Sorry, I put.
Thank you.
Do we have a second? Any comments, please?
I'll just mention to council that President Martin and I did meet with the Public Works Bargaining Unit to answer a few questions about this, and they are on board.
Thank you. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon?
Yes.
Mr. Bioki?
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta?
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
President Martin?
Yes.
You can see the general report is in the agenda. I have nothing else to report tonight, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. We'll move on to the Finance Committee. Mr. Erbaldinger?
Thank you, President Martin. I have a motion, move to approve payment of bills for the month of December in the following amounts. General fund budget, 283,000, corrective action budget, 403,000, fire protection fee, 5,000, road improvement, 1,300, and capital improvement plan, 168,700. $0.03. What? I said 168,700. Oh, I'm sorry if I said something wrong. $168,723.03.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Bacon?
Yes.
Mr. Bioki?
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta?
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
President Martin?
Yes.
Another motion, move to accept the proposal of Jordan Tax Service as a delinquent collector for the borough's delinquent real estate tax, trash fee, sewer fee, and fire fee, beginning immediately.
We have a second.
Second.
Any comments?
If I'm correct, I believe the residents will now be mailing things directly to Jordan, not bringing them here. Is that correct, Mr. Morris? Okay. Thank you.
May we have a roll call vote, please?
Bacon?
Yes.
Mr. Bioki?
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta?
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
President Martin?
Yes.
Move to exonerate tax collector Janet Sullivan for the collection of all delinquent taxes for 2023, reported in the amount of 92,320.16 at face value, and previous years, and any unpaid additional tax bills received due to reassessment which have been turned over to the Borough Office for collection.
Second. Thank you. Any comments? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
Move to approve the 2024 corrective action budget totaling $3,391,104.
Any comments?
Just to translate for people in the audience who may not know, corrective action budget is our sewer, fixing sewer pipes and things like that, which is paid by your sewer bills or fees.
May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki.
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
Move to approve payment of the December bill to Siemens for $118,560 from the ESCO fund under the contract between the borough and Siemens.
Second.
Any comments? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
One more. Move to pay 25% of Access 2023 RAD funds as required under state law with 2,537 provided to the C.C. Mellor Library, Forest Hills Branch, and the remainder provided to the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Governments in the amount of $2,537.
Any comments? We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
And that concludes my general report can be read in the agenda. So that concludes finance.
Thank you, Mr. Erbaldinger. Let's move on to borough property. Mr. Bacon?
Thank you, Madam President, and my apologies to everyone. This is my first time reading through one of these. So correct me if I go off course, please. The first thing to announce is that there was a list of surplus equipment posted for disposal. We did not receive any bids on any of those equipment, so they will be indeed disposed. Next, I would like to move to authorize Mr. Reamer to make the following purchases for the pool concession stand from the borough's 2024 capital improvements plan. This is for an ice machine, $3,329, a commercial microwave, $1,168, and a freezer for $3,499, which I'd like to note is just slightly different than the numbers on the distributed items, as there were some updates for better equipment fit.
Second.
Any comments? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
I would like to move to approve the CoStar's bid of the Encompass Building Group to repair the outdoor fireplace at the Forest Hills Westinghouse Lodge at a cost of $7,820, with funds coming from a grant and ARPA monies.
Second.
Any comments? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Baoki,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger,
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
I would like to move to accept the bid of Creative Displays for the purchase of a 22-foot panel Christmas tree in the amount of $13,116.08, with money to come from the borough's general fund and capital improvements plan. For those not familiar with a panel tree, this would be replacing the live tree every year outside of the borough building. with what is essentially a steel sort of structure cone with panels of artificial tree on it, meaning it would last for many, many years and enhance the borough's light up night and other holiday decoration.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Bauke.
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
For the general report, would the engineer like to make any reports?
Mr. Bacon, can I ask the engineer a question?
Just go ahead.
How are we doing Westinghouse Rec Lodge, but like timing wise? Like, are we still on track to open as planned?
Yes, currently, there is a construction meeting tomorrow, with the contractors for the interior renovations. We did, get bids on the exterior work, but nobody bid on the roof modifications, for the overhang. So the roofing contractor, we're asking, who co-stars for a bid on that, since we didn't get any activity on that bid. So we should have that for the committee meetings.
Thank you.
Yes.
Further items are in the report. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to planning and zoning. Mr. DeCrosta, please.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move to approve ordinance number 1113, amending chapter 27 of the Code of Ordinances to revise the zoning district designation of the property at 444 Avenue D from R2 Low Density Residential to S2 Special District.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Are there any comments? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Bacon,
Yes.
Mr. Bauke,
Yes.
Mr. DeCosta,
Yes.
Mr. Erbaldinger.
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
President Martin.
Yes.
I'd like to move to reject all bids received for the 2024 tree maintenance and authorize council and staff to advertise for new bids following an update to the RFP.
Second.
May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Just a general comment. We're reviewing some of the planning and zoning ordinances and fee related to fees and fines. And sort of reviewing maybe some of the fencing issues that may be emerging with some concerns from our residents. So we'll have further reports on that in the near future. Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Thank you. May we move on to Public Works Committee, Mr. Watkins?
Thank you very much, Madam President. There are no motions for Public Works. We do have general report, which comments from the engineer, if there is anything that he would like to comment on.
Yes, the largest item is we did include the proposed list of roads for the base bid. And then the ad alternates coming out of the committee meetings, we updated our memo to include those and the approximate cost. So we will start preparing the specifications for those and do a field review that with the committee for the next month. And then next month's meeting, we would ask for authorization to advertise so that we can open bids in early April, because that'll give you your best bids for timing wise. And that's all I have this evening.
Very much. Any other reports or the general report is within the agenda, so that concludes everything for Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. We'll move on to Public Safety, Mr. Bioki.
Thank you, Madam President. The first item was a motion that I would like, in consideration of the comments this evening, I'd like to postpone this motion for 30 days to investigate alternate fencing for the remaining two parks that we discussed last year. So that's, if there's no objection, I'd like to move with that.
As long as nobody objects, we can move in that fashion.
Comments?
Okay. The remaining of my report is in the agenda unless anyone has any questions. That concludes our report.
Thank you, Mr. Bioki. Don't think we have any new business. Then I'm going to adjourn the meeting by acclamation without objection. Thank you. Our next scheduled council meeting, Committee of the Whole. Our council meeting is February 21st, 2024. The next scheduled Committee of the Whole meetings are going to be held live unless conditions require remote use of Zoom format, order to be determined. Tuesday, February 6th, Borough Property, Operations and Property, Policy, Public Safety, Public Works. Tuesday, February 13th, Committee of the Whole, Finance, Planning and Zoning. Council may choose to meet as a whole and conduct business if necessary on either or both dates. All meetings will begin at 7 p.m., 4400 Greensburg Pike, or via Zoom if conditions warrant. The information to contact the borough is on the agenda. Thank you.
Can I make one question? I think at the committee meetings, we agreed to do on Zoom. Did we change that?
Yes. Meeting's adjourned.